Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well and welcome. In this video, I want to talk to you about how this whole pilgrimage, this whole transformation journey starts, and hopefully you can get some points to reflect on. Well, this whole thing started with a triad, with past, present, future, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, thinking, feeling, and observing. Oh man, Cherry, this sounds so esoteric. Nah, in reality it's not. It was from the feeling, actually, that comes with this impulse, this sensation of questioning my own life. See, the lifelong questions arise. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I go? These questions that have been questioned throughout time, and it seems that there is no answer for it. But maybe the answer is so personal that it just doesn't apply to everyone the same way. So from here is where I start. The who am I? Am I this body? Am I my possessions? Am I my profession? Am I my salary? What if all that is gone? Do I lose myself? Do I cease to exist? But then, who am I really? So it seemed like this question was a little too deep and too profound, and it needed a deeper understanding. And where do I come from? Is it the place that I was born? Does it really mean that? Do I really want that answer? Because I think we all know where we come from in that aspect. But my essence, if I'm not my possessions, if I'm not my body, if I'm not my salary, and so on, then where do I come from? So this also seemed a little too difficult. Where do I go? That one is where I started. That one seemed more feasible. Where do I go? What is the journey? What is the path or the trajectory that I'm taking in my life? What is the purpose of me living? So from there, I started. From there, I started analyzing the own goals that I was setting in my life, the purpose that I was given my own life. See, I always wanted to live a life with purpose. But in that sense, I didn't quite understand what it meant. A purpose? Well, purpose, everyone gives their life a purpose. Even if it seems that you have no purpose. Even if you have no purpose, your biological purpose is to stay alive. So in that aspect, everyone has their own purpose. But it was something deeper than that. See, mentally, rationally, my life was going wonderful. But then, what am I feeling complete? So from the observant, I see that there is a dissonance, a disharmony there. Also from the observant, I saw that the value that I was giving myself, and therefore seeing it in others, was based on the outside, on the possessions, on the salary, on the people I was with. Very, very incomplete vision. very materialistic, looking outside. So I think that from there is that comes this urge of finding where I was going and finding answer to these questions for my own life. This whole material way of living is where, in the unconscious level, in the collective, where we're all going, or where we see that life is the only thing. So when we're born, when we incarnate, we are part of a system. See, my mother used to say, or she told me a couple of times, very wise words. I'll try to translate. It was something like, "You were not born as a mushroom. You didn't come out of the soil." And at first I was like, "What, mushroom? Didn't come out of the soil?" So, meaning like you're not independent of your surrounding, in a way. I mean, all things are dependent on other things. So in that aspect, I saw that it was more of a fruit, if you want to make an analogy. A fruit that is born of a tree, right? And the tree we can call family, or we can call society, whatever. It's part of a system. So it's got a necessity of belonging, of feeling accepted, of feeling loved and supported. It's a necessity for its own survival. Kind of how we live our lives. But then intrinsically, it's also got a necessity of expressing itself, of becoming who it came to this world to be. So throughout life, we go about our business without thinking about this. Now, obviously, everything is changing. As I'm speaking to you, the whole world is changing right in front of our eyes. So it's kind of cornering us into observing and question and feel those questions, so then we can find those answers. So going back to the tree analogy, the fruit analogy, it's this paradox, right? That we live, this dual vision. It doesn't have to be one or the other. This fruit can easily listen to itself, express itself to what it came to this world to express, and not only verbally, can express in many ways through art, music, studies. Anyway, so if we live in this way, listening to this inner voice to express what we came here to do, to what we came here to express, and we start aligning with that voice without losing the sense of belonging, right? So in an internal alignment will come an external alignment. Law of correspondence, as within, so without. The world we see, the world we live, and what we perceive, and everything we come in touch with and contact with are little pieces and expressions of our world inside. But all this happens in the unconscious mind. We don't have a lot of light into this. I haven't been taught this when I was a kid. I had to go through all this journey, as many of you. So as more people are realizing that there is a lot of dissonance and disharmony within, and they're coming to themselves to harmonize this, and the more we do it, the more the collective unconscious is going to grow into this vision. So this is the opportunity that we have to create this reality. But we're not going to change the world. We're not going to change anything or anyone if we don't start doing it with ourselves. And from there, our perception starts changing. And then the world around us will start changing. So we do it one by one, taking that responsibility, being honest with ourselves. Then in this way, we're going to lead others with the example. So let me give you, before I go on, when I started making myself these questions, like I told you before, or maybe in the previous video, everything was going great. Good job, good co-workers, flexible hours. I mean, everything was great, right? But when this comes out, when this feeling of emptiness, of something missing comes out, and the observant part, it leads me to see that there was, in fact, a void, emptiness, right? This dissonance, this harmony caused this void. Because going back to the tree analogy, I was doing, most of the things I was doing was just to feel accepted, just to feel supported by the system, by my system, and I was completely forgetting or not paying attention to what makes me vibrate, what makes me really feel alive. So in this way, this causes a void. But you know, voids cannot exist in the universe. The universe doesn't allow voids. So how do we fill those voids up? By the things we do. Substances, people, addictive behaviors, anything that's gonna make us forget that there is a void. But see, everything we do outside, trying to fill those voids inside, it's not gonna work. Because it's like the outside world is just a projection. So how can I feel a projection, or how can I grab something from the projection of my own world and bringing it into the source? That's not gonna work. That's never gonna work. So in this journey that I start going, I learned, I keep learning, because once you step into this journey of liberation, it's beautiful, but it's not easy. But it's so liberating. It's freeing. Your whole perception of life starts changing. And then you no longer seek that acceptance, and that you no longer seek to be loved with external things in the material world. Because all that is within you. And then when you start harmonizing, like I said, your world starts perceiving that. So instead of going and looking for things, pursuing happiness, and that famous pursuit of happiness outside, you come inside, and then by default, things start coming your way. And this speech has been getting stronger and stronger throughout time. And we're seeing this, we're seeing a change outside. Structures are changing, society is changing, economic systems are in the process of changing, everything is changing. So not wanting to change, not wanting to look within, not wanting to be honest with ourselves is just going to hurt us. And I've always been of the idea of I'd rather do things before I'm forced to do things. So not be reactive, be proactive. And what better way to be proactive than with your own life, the most precious thing we have in the world that nothing, absolutely nothing can buy. Such a blessing to be alive, especially in these times. We're talking about transformation, we're talking about this liberation, and the whole world is going through this process at the moment. So I want to invite you to just observe. Observe your world. Observe the things you're doing. Question. Use the mind and question. Question everything. Question everything. But not only try to look for answers in a logical way. The mind is always going to play its tricks. It's really the prison that we live in is here. If we can't get out of our minds, we're never going to be liberated. So, from the heart, feel. Mind and heart. Together. Observing, very neutral. And see what comes up. Ask yourself these questions. And if you have your own questions, well, ask them too. Little by little, you're going to start realizing that all the answers that we've been looking outside are not there. We're looking in the wrong direction. Going inside is the best gift we can give to ourselves. There's a nice book about this whole living with, or living to express what you have, what you feel. You have to express in this world. And talks about the material world too, and how we're so focused on the outside, so focused on the material world, thinking that our voids are going to be filled out by the external world. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. It's a very famous book, and I'm pretty sure you have at least heard about it. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend this one. I wish I'd read it way before, but it doesn't matter. Not really. Everything happens at the right time when it has to happen. So it's a matter of resonance. So with that invitation, with that recommendation, inviting you to observe, to think, to feel, I want to leave you. And if you have any comments, leave them below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. See you next time.